New York City's field makes buried feel like Lawrence of Arabia. It is just like
Welcome to amorephillyunion, a podcast where sometimes you try to think of a clever opening and then Messi plays the whole game and ruins all your fun. We are your hosts. I'm Paul.
And I'm E.
And we are C-less.
We are sans C.
We are C-neat.
We are devoid of C.
Yes. Yeah.
That is good. It's your volley. It's a
Dirty love, your serve again.
we are unsee. We are unseeing. All right, this is gonna all get cut out.
Yep. C is traveling this week, so it's just the two of us holding down the fort while she's off traveling.
I think it's worth mentioning the text we got from her tonight, and it was an awesome quote, all caps, and it just said, "Avenge me, boys!
Avenge me, Wolverine!"
I know, right? That was what's his name? The guy was also in Pretty in Pink, right?
Yeah, Henry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, right. From 80s teen movie to 80s Russia attacking the United States movie. So he's got a wide range.
I think he was also in the Alien.
He was an alien, right? He was one of the crew members, right?
He made it almost to the end.
Yeah. Let's just do this week's episode about that.
No. We've got some good stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
here.
we do.
But just as a reminder for those of you who are listening, if you want to get involved with the Philadelphia Union Foundation or throw some donation their way, please visit their website, philadelphiaunionfoundation.org, and reach out to them. There's a donate button right there, or you could reach out and try to get involved and help them out. It's a good cause, so consider it.
Yep.
No updates as far as downloads or anything else from the housekeeping. So I guess we should just jump into the games this week because
we got two of them to talk about.
Yeah, we decided to wait until Wednesday to record this one. And up until this, all we had was the disappointing loss in Miami. Yeah. And now we have a disappointing loss in Miami and a dominant win in New York, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
So Union did start off Saturday and had traveled down to Miami where we knew it was going to be tough.
Yeah.
And
Messi was going to be the return of Messi as they were kind of booking it as well.
Yeah. So we knew that was coming. So I don't think anybody really expected us to win this one. It would have been kind of nice if they could have gotten a tie out of it. But, Messi's on the field with a surprise start. A lot of people figured he'd be a second half sub since he'd been sidelined for a while with, I think it was injury situation, but he ended up playing the full 90 minutes and, he did score 2 goals and he got an assist on the third, which was a late game kind of Union pressed up high and Suarez made a good run. Messi found him and they scored the third goal to ice the cake. So, disappointing result, but we did get 1 goal in the second minute. Aura scored a banger of a goal.
It was right on the line. I watched the replay before recording, and it was like the clock was just at 59 seconds, about to tick over to 1 minute, and that's when we scored. And, it's the old adage, right? Scoring too soon. Although when you're going up against Messi, you can't score soon enough, actually. You got to get the goals when you can.
Also can't score too much, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, even though we lost it. I mean, it's nice seeing Aura kind of his scoring, his goal numbers are going up.
Yeah.
I feel like his production rate is increasing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's now that Kranz is not there, he's got more responsibilities falling on his shoulders. Although I guess he's still playing just as much when Kranzo was on the team, but or maybe it's just the way he's meshing with Baribo, and it's the new and improved triangle of death, safer for fabrics, and
I think he's also just more willing to try shots.
Yeah.
Like, he's not waiting for the absolute perfect play. He's just, all right, I've got a half set. I got a half step. I'm going to take a shot. And, 6 times out of 10, it's on frame and, make the goalkeeper work, and good things happen when the goalkeeper has to touch the ball. And, yeah, he's been doing well. He's been doing real well.
I think he and Ura and McLean are sitting down watching a lot of highlight reels from Clint Dempsey. They're getting inspiration from that.
Yeah, so the Union got an early goal. There were definitely a lot of opportunities in this game that the Union could have scored more. It would have been nice if they had turned a couple of them. And, talking about the 2 goals that Messi did get, the first one, I felt like they just gave him a little too much space on top of the box.
Can't do that.
And no, you really can't.
Yeah.
And then the second one was just, that was just out of nowhere. He made magic happen with, and with a guy with feet as quick as Messi, he's going to make those opportunities, and he's going to make you pay. Now, one other big thing about this game that I want to make sure we mention before we move on is that Andre Blake was not playing, and Andrew Rick had to start. That was a bit of a shock. I didn't know that Andre Blake got injured, but apparently his groin is still not at 100%. And he was away with international duty with Jamaica, and I don't know if it was in a game or during training with them, but he apparently strained it, and so they put him on the injured list. So, good on Andrew Rick for getting another start. Tough situation. You're facing shots from the greatest soccer player of all time, and then Luis Suarez, and so you knew it was going to be a long night.
Interesting selecting Rick over Zemla. It does seem like they are the number 2 spot is not decided. It seems like now.
Yeah,
I don't know if Zemla's not playing up to snuff or what he was doing before, or Rick's just coming up the curve that much more. But when Blake's not there, it's kind of like, I wonder who's going to be in net.
Yeah. No, it was good to see him get the opportunity. It was good. It's a shame that it didn't work out. He definitely, and I kind of want to jump ahead to the New York game here.
Sure.
Rick looked much better in the New York game, much more confident in this New York game. There were saves that he made a play for in the Miami game, but just didn't reach him. And then there were saves in this New York City game that they were Blake-esque.
They were Blake-esque, 100%.
And he looked like, what? I'm going to keep us in this game. And so let's jump into the New York City FC game. Union won this one, dominated it 5-1. Scored 3 in the first half and 2 more in the second. It did give up one at the end of the first half, which I don't know if you were like me. I was worried. Oh, great! If they gave up one now,
I know. When we're up 3-0 and they get that goal right there in the takeoff and landing time at the first half, and immediately I don't know if it's my Philadelphia fandom. It's like, oh man, 3-1. I don't know if we're gonna win this.
Well, I wasn't so worried about that. I was just like, oh no, is it going to be an implode? Are they going to show that the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in soccer?
Yeah.
But no, I definitely think that Rick turned it on in the second half. You could see the defense was fired up. It kind of reminded me back to, we've talked about it in the past, when they just play with confidence and when they just go out there and play. And you can see that they're enjoying the game. Things seem to work out well for them.
Yeah.
And definitely, Rick had at least 3 good sprawling diving saves.
Yeah.
Blake-ness saved one sort of. It's questionable whether or not it was actually going to go into the net, but either way, he backed up Rick after Rick made a great stop, and the ball went back out to a New York player in the second half. And Blake-ness, the New York player took the shot, and Blake-ness headed it away.
Yeah,
and cleared it out. You could just see the defense was fired up, high-fiving each other, slapping each other on the back, stuff like that, getting up, which was great.
That shot was definitely going on frame.
You think so?
It looked like it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had a replay from behind the net that kind of made it look like it might not have hit the frame, but either way, Blake-ness did exactly what he needed to do
Yeah.
and got that ball out.
Yeah.
So
In fact, this game was definitely going into the Blake-ness scrapbook of what I did in 2024, because not only did he, there was that one slide tackle, or not slide tackle, but a sliding block.
That was a great
Yeah,
block.
yeah, he just came sliding in. But he also got one of those 5 goals. I think it was what the fourth goal was. Yeah, it was a corner kick, and Blake-ness came just barreling in. I think he like pushed through like 2.
I mean, you could practically hear the train whistle going as he was moving.
Blake-ness Express coming through. Yeah, and he just headed that corner in. So I think that was his second goal of the year, 8th of his career, or at least with the Union. And I think Wagner, I think this is like 50 something assist.
He set the all-time assist record for the Philadelphia Union with that corner kick.
Man, yeah.
It was. So let's get back before we talk about goal number 4.
Yeah.
Let's talk about goals 1, 2, 3. And,
yeah.
I think the highlight here is it came from the triangle of death.
The triangle of death. 1, 2, 3. Everyone gets a goal out of the triangle. Absolutely.
So the first goal was scored by Baribo.
Man, this guy. I gotta crunch the numbers. And sorry, I didn't mean to, I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish.
But this guy scores in every game. I'd love to know what his score rate is. I got to sit down and crunch some numbers. But go ahead.
So corner kick starts this cycle. New York defends it. It goes outside of the 18-yard box, and Mbaizo, I think he headed this one. He definitely put it in a looping kind of a play.
Yeah, I think he headed it. Yeah.
And Baribo somehow or another got back onside, and then he is the only one there where it's coming down.
Yeah.
And he just redirects it into the bottom corner to beat Matt Freese.
And his back is to the goal when he does
Yes. Yes. And then I was listening to MLS's Extra Time podcast this week, and they were talking about the top goalkeepers in the league. And one of their pundits actually put Freese up there as the goalkeeper of the year, or at least the top 2.
Really?
Yeah, because he's been playing so well. So I was worried going into this game that, Matt Freese, ex-Union player that we knew from his past. And the Union made him look human as Baribo scored that first goal with a well redirected header. Just enough power, got it down low, exactly what you want your goal scorers to do. And I mean, that was 15 minutes into the game, I think.
Yeah, 15th minute.
And it was going to get worse because apparently the Union scored 3 goals in 16 minutes. So Baribo had the first one, and then I think we need to talk about both of the next 2. Aura got the second one. McGlynn, I believe it was, who started this one, got the ball upfield. It looked like NYC was going to clear it out, but then the defender fumbled the ball and ended up getting to Baribo. And I don't know if Aura said something to catch Baribo's attention.
Oh, yeah. He was drawing like 3 defenders at this time.
Yeah, Baribo was getting mobbed by 3 defenders, and somehow or another played a ball off to the left side where Aura was making a late run. And even with 2 NYC FC defenders closing on him, he passes the ball into the far corner of the goal. He just totally wrong-footed Matt Freese as Matt Freese was moving from left to right.
Yeah.
He put it back to Matt Freese's left or to the right side of the attacking side of the goal, and just a clinical ice in his veins kind of a finish.
Yeah, it was just that you just saw him open his hips inside of his foot. Just you could tell it was all about control and placement. He just wasn't trying to send a laser beam of a shot. It was like you're in so close, right? You're too close for missiles. You got to switch the guns, right? And you just got to be very clinical and precise. Don't worry about the power. And both those two goals, both the Barribo's header and this Ora's goal. Neither of them were there wasn't a lot of power behind them. They were just placed just very precisely, almost delicately, almost. And as I'm thinking about this, I think Barribo's back was to the goal when he almost kind of,
he got it. He did get turned around to make the pass. He got his feet, his hip set to make the pass. But I don't know how he knew to make that pass other than Ora was screaming to him for the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
And somehow they all stayed on side. Like you watch that back, it was very clear they were all on side for it.
All those goals, I was like, well, hold on. Like, especially Barribo's header, I'm like, he looks offside. And they show the replay. I'm like, oh, no, he's onside. Like, okay.
There's like 2 to 3 defenders, further back from him.
Yeah.
It was well done. Yeah. And then the third goal to close out the scoring from the triangle of deaths was Gazdag. The ball got out to the left side. McGlynn played it in. Barribo put a header on frame. Freeze goes up and grabs the ball, and you figure that's the end of it. Gazdag, though, you make the runs. Being a goal scorer is, running, 89 minutes and being dangerous in 1 minute of the game. Yeah. And Gazdag makes the run that you need an attacker to make, and Freeze fumbled the ball.
He fumbled it. Yeah.
He just dropped the ball. And Gazdag was right there practically before it hit the ground to punch it home from, a yard and a half out, 2 yards out. And so all of a sudden we're 40 minutes into the game, 35 minutes into the game, and the Union are up 3-0 and just rolling.
Yeah. Yeah. I watching the replay of the Gazdag goal, and I didn't catch it in the actual run of play. But I saw how Freeze just fumbled it, and I was just like, man, that's, I want to say rookie mistake, but that's, that's a mistake a goalkeeper should be making. But, a little bit of slack for Freeze and a little bit of credit to Gazdag, because like you said, he came running in. Yep. And you just place that for the briefest of moment, you force the keeper to think not on getting that ball, but you got a guy coming at you. And, maybe that creates that moment of hesitation, that moment of like, you flinch. And in that micro flinch, you fumble the ball. So like you said, your job is to be dangerous 99 times. And it's that one time that it yields that result. Hopefully more than that,
and it works for Gazdag in this one. The Union were up 3-0.
And it really felt like the place was deflating at that point.
Oh yeah, it was quiet. There was a lot of. I'm up in New Jersey right now for work, and I was actually thinking to myself, I should have gone into the city for this game because there were plenty of open seats.
Yeah. So I think there were more open seats after that third goal.
There certainly were. But the NYCFC did get one back in stoppage time. They I forget their wing back's name, their left side wing back, played a cross in. Santi Rodriguez made a great run, and none of the Union's defenders picked him up, and he powered it past Rick. Rick really didn't have a chance at that one, but the dangerous players are dangerous, and they only have to be on for 1 or 2 opportunities to make you worried. But definitely going into halftime, the perfect game had been ended, and it was 3-1. And I'll admit I was a little worried. Is this the start of a comeback from New York? Because it's certainly possible. Teams have been up by a bunch and still managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
And I think, too, New York has a little bit of an advantage. Maybe I'm projecting onto them, but that field is such a weird field to play on, right? Because it's just kind of forced into the outfield of, is that Met Stadium?
No, it's Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. And it's so compact. I mean, it's I was watching it. I'm trying to think, like, what movie analogy would I use for playing in this field? On this field, because it's like, what's that, the Marx Brother, like Night at the Opera, where they're all like in the one railroad car or something like that, and it's just like this scene where it's like they wind up getting like 12 people into the size of like a single box car or a single room on a on the train. But anyway, so
Or a
I
little
think
more modern reference might be like, either Old Boy or the one fight scene from Daredevil where it's just a hallway. And
oh
it's just him going through a hallway, getting in a fight. And that's kind of what it felt like. It was just so narrow. There's no crossing. Like the fact that the ball could get back from one end of the field to the other so fast, from side
yeah.
to side so fast. It's crazy small.
Well, the one modern analogy I thought of was what was the movie with Ryan Reynolds where it's a creepy,
Oh,
intense movie.
Buried.
Buried. So I was like that the New York City's field makes Buried feel like Lawrence of Arabia. It is just like yeah.
For those who have never seen the movie Buried, it actually is pretty interesting, but it's him, it's Ryan Reynolds in a coffin.
The whole movie is him inside of a coffin.
Yep.
And it's intense.
Yep.
It's very
him on a cell phone in a coffin trying to get himself out. But it is a very claustrophobic kind of a movie. And I mean, I think that's fair. That NYCFC field is tiny. And they cannot get their own field fast enough. I think they said 2027 is when they're expecting to get it.
Who knows? But I think it serves as an advantage to them because I think they're used to playing on that space. And so a team comes in, maybe they get a 3-1 lead at the half, but then they have
it's actually kind of like the anti-city field because they're kind of New York City FC is sort of, I think they're co-owned by some of the investors in Man City.
Yeah, there's a Man City
and
connection.
Man City is known because they have the largest pitch in the world. Like
really? I didn't know that.
Field that they've got is either the largest in the world or it's certainly the largest in the Premier League.
Okay.
And so that gives them a certain advantage. So now that's kind of the opposite, like you were saying, because they're like because NYCFC is the only ones that play on a field that small, they're used to it, and therefore it's a bit of an advantage for them. But not tonight.
Not
because
tonight. Not this night.
Even not this night. We play this game 8, 9, 10 times. They might beat us 9, but not tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry, Herb. So the Union, despite the fact that they gave up a goal at the end of first half, and I was a little worried they would turn out to shut down NYCFC with some really solid defensive play, some solid goalkeeper play, but also good possession play. They just kept the ball upfield. Like if NYCFC didn't have the ball and the ball was on their half of the field, it was very hard for them to score.
Yeah.
Rick, again, like we mentioned before, did make some impressive saves, including one where Harriel was chasing the ball back and it didn't seem like they knew he had communicated very clearly with Rick whether or not he wanted Andrew Rick to come out and win the ball or not. And then the NYCFC player got there and chipped the ball, but Rick was able to deflect it wide. A lot of solid saves there.
Yeah. I know there was a flurry, relatively speaking, a flurry of substitutions from New York City in the beginning of the second half.
Yep.
So I guess trying to shift their strategy on the field, which you got it right when you're trailing by 2, you got to change something.
Yep.
But Adeniran came in for Aura, and this guy, there's a goal there for him somewhere. It's there. It's there, dude. Every time he's on the field, like watching like this game play out. He's so big and physical on the ball. Like he reminds me of Harris, right? He's just I know I've talked about this before. He's just a physical presence, and you can't push him off the ball. Like you can almost stand there with the ball, and or he can just stand there with the ball, and you just can't get it off of him. But he's also got the speed, and I don't know. I know I'm projecting onto him, maybe, but you could tell he wants this goal so bad, and he had some opportunities in his game.
Yeah.
So hopefully when that first one comes, there's a flood behind him. And maybe we're going to time it just in sync with the playoffs.
So the goals did come later in the second half. Definitely felt like the Union just wanted to slow this game down.
Yep, I agree.
Keep control of it, not give up any easy shots. And they didn't. They really didn't. The opportunities that New York City developed were quick. Even though the Union Uh, I think possession was almost 2-1 against the Union. Even in the second half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I think the Union had like 32% in the first half, and maybe even less in the second. But the Union were patient. They knew that they would get their opportunities, and towards the 70, 80th minute, they got a corner kick. Like we mentioned before, Wagner takes the corner kick. Blake-ness just decides now's the time, and he gets up there and powers home a header to get the Union up by 4-1. And then there was a second set of substitutes that the Union put on, Quinn Sullivan and Jesus Bueno, and they just decided between a dinner on Quinn Sullivan and Bueno. They're like, yeah, we got one more in this game for us. So a turnover on the Union half of midfield. They spring a dinner on, who dribbles it upfield with an odd man rush. I think it was 3-on-2.
Yep.
Sullivan, I guess it was Baribo and a dinner on, and then Bueno came up trailing along behind them. And dinner on passes the ball out to Sullivan on the left side, and Sullivan, I think he was actually trying to pass to Baribo, but Bueno intercepted the pass.
He just came running in.
And then that was just a well-taken shot from just inside the top of the box.
Yeah.
And the keeper had no chance.
Yeah. It was like the opposite of the Aura goal, where Aura was just, low energy, very precise into the corner. Bueno's shot was just was a bullet. Just came charging in and just bam. So, I don't know if it was on. I don't think it was for this goal, but there was definitely like the Union were, again, like you said, trying to hold the ball, playing a little bit more possession to slow the game down. But again, Jack McGlynn, it was on the right wing, and he did that this nice cheeky little like behind the back heel pass to feed the ball up the right sideline there.
That was so well done. Yeah, late in the second half.
Yeah,
he's running towards the sideline. It's clear he's going to go out of bounds, but somehow or another, he gets the ball past the defender and up the line.
Yeah,
well done, Jack.
Yeah, again, he just works quietly in the background, and I think that's of an important role to play, and I think he's getting better and better at playing it. It's going to be like how I was with Martinez, where it's the you don't know what you got till it's gone, right? It's going to be like when McGlynn's not on the field, it's like why are we, giving up the ball so much, or why are we making such bad passes? They're like, oh, so McGlynn's not out there. Okay, yeah, okay, So it is. I've been enjoying watching McGlynn, keep progressing and growing, year to year.
So the last thing I wanted to mention about this game in particular was that we did see a return of Kevin Sullivan.
Yes, that's right.
Just before the end of the second half, before start of the stoppage time, Kevin Sullivan
turns 15 too.
That's right. Kevin Sullivan came on for Gajdog. He definitely showed a bit of pace, some bit of strength. I mean, he took on a defender. Defender was pushing him around pretty good during the stoppage time, and got actually Kevin ended up getting fouled, and the defender got a yellow card for it was a professional foul. I think the defender did when he reached out and grabbed Kevin because Kevin had gotten past him,
and he was going to just put more distance between them too.
Yep, which was actually kind of a little bit of a surprise because there were two other defenders. He didn't have to necessarily reach out and do it, but at that point of the game, he wasn't taking a chance. And Kevin was dangerous. I think he may have had a shot before the end of the game, but the Union just saw out the 3 minutes of stoppage time and left New York with points.
Yeah, definitely every win counts that much more with we're quickly running out of running room here in the regular season. And hey, if you're going to get a win, why not bolster your goal differential at the same time?
Absolutely. So other than the two games, we don't really have a lot of or really any Philadelphia Union news for this week. We're in the getting on towards the end of the season. The transfer window is closed. Nobody's posting any outrageous items on social media for fans to react to.
Some cryptic message, where we're going to start panicking. Allie posts something like, "All good things must come to an end." We're like, what?
No! And to
like,
be clear, Allie did not post that. Let me say that again. Allie did not post that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than Blake waiting for Blake to get healthy, there's really not a lot of news. Although in tonight's broadcast, the announcers seem to think that there's a chance that Blake might be back for the game this Sunday. We'll see. Rick looked really much more comfortable out there today. So if they wanted to let him get a home game under his belt against DC, I think that makes some sense because talking about upcoming games, we kind of look through the last 5 games of the Union season. Surprisingly, the Union have 3 of them at home.
That's not good for us.
We'll have to see. So the Union now with the win tonight are currently in 9th place, which is technically a playoff position.
Yay! We fixed all of our problems.
They're going to be facing DC United, who are currently in 10th place, just behind the Union, although they are tied in points and games played with the Union, as both of them have 33 points in 29 games.
Yeah.
The difference is that the Union have a +6 goal differential, whereas DC United have a -13 goal differential. So this is definitely a 6-pointer kind of a game. It'll help secure the Union and help weaken their nearest competitor, which would be really good.
Yep.
Then moving forward, they are hosting Atlanta the following Saturday. Atlanta right now is currently in 11th place, 32 points, 29 games, and a -4 goal differential. So both of these 2 upcoming home games are against teams that are just below them in the standings.
So in some respect, like these are critical wins. Like we have to win these games.
Well, I mean, let's just assume all of the games from here on out are critical wins.
Sure.
But these 2 in particular are against teams that are currently below the Union in the standings. So you would hope that would mean they should be wins for the Union.
Yeah. But it builds up that little bit more. Every one of these wins against a lower ranked team gives us a little bit more of a buffer from getting relegated out of playoffs.
Yeah. And hopefully the Union keep playing, having fun while they're out there playing. And Jim did say that they actually seem to feel a little bit more stress when playing at home because a win is expected. But hopefully they play with the sense of fun that they had in the game like tonight and just go out there and perform.
Yeah, it's kind of a paradox, right? They seem to play their best when they're relaxed, right? But at the same time, you don't want to be too relaxed in the sense of you let the other team start running circles around you. But it's when you can hit that sweet spot, then you see these 5-1, games shellackings. Yeah.
So after the next 2 home games, then the Union's schedule gets really hard as they face 4th place Orlando in Orlando, then 3rd place Columbus in Columbus, and then they finish the season at home against Cincinnati, who's currently in 2nd place.
And they seem to be our perennial, not rival, but they're like our perennial season-ending challenge. It feels like, it's almost like a homecoming where, the Union are going up against a bunch of other former Union players. It's almost like what do you call it? It's almost like a best of game.
So I imagine Orlando will still be playing for 4th place. They'll still want to try to secure that home field advantage through at least the first round of the playoffs. So that game should still be very contested.
Yeah.
But it could be an opportunity for the Union to keep trying to move up. Hopefully, by the time we face Columbus on the 5th of October, Columbus's space is a little more guaranteed. Hopefully they don't really have a shot at winning the East. and they're resting some of their better players. So we'll have a chance at least of getting a draw in Columbus, which would be nice.
Yeah. That's a good point. I just with Miami kind of locking up. They haven't locked it up yet, but if they lock up Supporter Shield or even just the number 1 spot in the East, it does take the pressure off of the second and third place teams to try to get to the top of the table, which hopefully means teams like us, when we go up against them, we're not going up against their A squad necessarily.
Right. Although there is something to be said about, and we've seen this, you want to keep your best players playing so that they stay sharp.
But I can see them like hopefully they play half a game and then they pull them out for the second half and let their second,
or they put them in the second half just
exactly. Yeah.
So the Union then, for some reason, have a 2-week break after the Columbus game before they take on Cincinnati. I think that's the international break, which is what that's there for.
So.
The fall international break. But yeah, so they'll play Columbus on October 5th, and then they'll finish the season at home to Cincinnati on the 19th. And like I said, hopefully by then Cincinnati's position is set, so they're going to let their better players rest a bit. We'll see. Yeah. But it could be favorable for the Union to get those two, in particular, those 2 games against Columbus and Cincinnati late in the season, in the hopes that Columbus and Cincinnati are more willing to give up points at that point of the game, of the season.
I try to remember how many seasons now has it been that the Union have made it into the playoffs?
7
seasons. Wow.
Or this will be the 7th season. If the Union are able to make the playoffs, I think they've got 6 in a row that they've made the playoffs.
That's the bigger point, right? We've made the playoffs every year for the past 5, 6, 7 years, or whatever it might be. I don't think we've missed a year. Like every year, I feel like once we started making into the playoffs, we've always made it into the playoffs. I feel like that's what my brain is telling me.
That sounds about right.
So I would hate to see that streak come to an end this season. So totally doable. We can do it.
Just keep playing positive, keep playing confident, and play to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. As always, you can find us at our website, amorephillyunion.com. Feel free to reach out and email us at pod@amorephillyunion.com. On X, you can find us at amorephillyu. On Instagram, YouTube, and Threads, we are amorephillyunion. Please check out our eclectic Spotify playlist under amorephillyunion. As always, you can get our podcast wherever you get yours. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of amorephillyunion. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
And I'm E.
Go
Union!
Yee-haw.
So, C, do you want to just jump in as we're doing our sign off?
No, that's all right. You guys can do it.
All right,
or
so
would it make
we'll
sense?
sign off, and then I'll say I know.
What were you gonna say?
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We're your host. I'm Paul.
I'm C. Or yeah. Right. Wow, that was
I'm
legit.
Paul.
Is it me saying I'm
C.
E?
Yeah. So I'll say I'm Paul. Then Eric, you will say I'm E.
I'm E.
And then Christy will lead us off with Go Union.
All right, let's do that. That sounds like fun.
Okay. All right.
Oh man.
And Eric, you're E. I don't know.
I'm E. Okay, check.